Okay, so Dark Money Group offers influencers $1,500 for posts attacking Chicago Democratic primary candidate. The Illinois primaries are coming up on March 17th. Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, who is running for Illinois' 9th congressional district, and in this final week, in this crunch time before the election on Tuesday, there has been spending from pro-Israel groups, from AIPAC. There's been spending from this group called Democracy Unmuted, and they are a secretive political organization, aka Dark Money, and they reached out to Amanda Informed, who's an online influencer in Florida. She received an email with an offer, one negative post about candidate Kat Abu-Ghazaleh on Instagram and TikTok, and we will pay you $1,500. This was forwarded to her by Matt Anthus, who is the founder of Advocators, a digital marketing agency focused on politics and advocacy through micro-influencers. The job offer, reviewed by MS Now, came with a brief explaining how the group wanted Amanda, who declined to give her real name, citing privacy concerns, to post for her roughly 100,000 followers. Democracy Unmuted explained that it wanted creators to engage voters and encourage them to look past viral personalities and ask real questions about who is running and why. The suggested talking points were all focused on Abu-Ghazaleh, the youngest candidate and a former journalist for the left-leaning website Media Matters. The offer called for influencers to highlight more than one of Abu-Ghazaleh's alleged shortcomings. She was inexperienced, came from a wealthy family, may live with her partner in a different neighborhood, and is too new to the area to serve. Kat's campaign appears designed for attention rather than impact. Asked her comment about Democracy Unmuted's attack campaign on Friday, Abu-Ghazaleh shared a statement saying the material were filled with false and defamatory claims about Kat's background and campaign. Voters deserve to know who's paying for political influence campaigns like this and whether any campaigns or outside groups are coordinating behind the scenes. Fob Gill, thank you for the prime. We welcome full investigative scrutiny of the entities involved and the sources of their funding. Amanda declined the job. The money didn't feel right coming from someone who's not disclosing where the money is coming from. Here's the other thing, too. As a political commentator, the second that you take money that is to directly influence who you are promoting and who you are not, you are compromised. You are compromised. Last year during the, or not last year, 2024, during the presidential election, I had so many offers. I got so many offers to be paid to go promote Kamala Harris or whatever other Dems, and I turned every single one down because in any type of in anything that is that high stakes, you know, it's not the same thing as me being paid to play a video game or me being paid for, you know, whatever other sponsor. That's not me promoting a political candidate or party and making it seem as if this is how I authentically feel. That's your credibility. And that credibility goes out the window when you start taking those checks. Get that bag, sis? No, it's not getting the bag. Do you know how many bags I turned down? Do you know my poor team that's like, Jesus Christ, we lose out on so many opportunities because of the things you say online. And then when political stuff comes along, I'm like, nope. And my team gets it. They're not like forcing me to do anything, to be clear. I have an amazing team. But it's funny because I am somebody who is in a commentator position, but turns down any type of sponsor that is promoting a political candidate or party. Cutie McBooty, thank you for that dark money. Anyone you would like me to promote? Kamala Harris, 2028. Look, I'm an open book now, okay? I'm an open book. You give me subs. Who do you want me to? Hillary Clinton? You want to do Hills again? It's her time. I'm with her. Her story. I am girl bossed up, baby. We're always here to support you. I know. Y'all are what allow me to do what I do. And so, anyway, back to this bullshit. This is the problem when Taylor wrote that investigative piece through Wired about Chorus and that money there. And one of the things that is a glaring issue is that when you are being paid, especially when it is through dark money, you are compromised. You are not an independent commentator. You have lost your credibility. It's like, you know what? If someone's going to promote, all right, if you're going to promote Kamala Harris, for instance, it better be because you actually believe in Kamala Harris and not because you're being influenced due to where your money is coming from and where also then your access is coming from. For a lot of people too, it's not just money, it's also access. That dark brand and money. Here's my prime. Please promote my kitty cat name's Bunny. Shouts out to Bunny for president. Arathena, thank you for the 6 months. Euphoric, thank you for the 23 months. Designer Dragon, thank you for the prime. If you promote stocks, now you divulge if you own any, but not for politics. Right. I want to make sure. So Amanda said, I want to make sure it's coming from a source that's not doing nefarious things like interfering with elections. The race to replace Illinois retiring Representative Jan Schakowsky has drawn a staggering 15 Democratic candidates and become one of the most watched and most expensive primaries in the country. Yeah, this is a big one. You have Daniel Biss, Evanston Mayor, you have State Senator Laura Fine, you have Kat Abgazaleh. Millions of dollars have been raised for these campaigns. Dark money special interest groups, including AIPAC-backed committees, have poured millions more into the race. Kat has actually caught up. I think the last poll I saw, she was trailing by 3. In response to calls for comment, a BIS spokesperson said his campaign had been subject to dark money attacks too, more than any other candidate in Illinois. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. I simply don't believe that Daniel Biss, who's more of a comfortable establishment candidate, has been subjected to more dark money attacks than any other candidate in Illinois. Really? Yeah. Me too. And also way more. Anyway. It's unclear who paid for the campaign targeting Abgazaleh. Anthus said in his email to Amanda that Democracy Unmuted was not an official org yet, and while he couldn't disclose the funders, he said they were individuals from the Illinois area who have served in the highest offices and been at top of their game in the media. Their website, which was registered 2 weeks ago, seems to be a slapdash effort at a political advocacy website. And here's the thing too, okay? If you take money, and look, sometimes there may be an instance where somebody is actually is like, it's not necessarily that every instance of being paid for your political work is like just point blank bad, but it's also when it's not disclosed. And that was one of her main points in the piece that she wrote, is that money was not being disclosed, that the creators, the political influencers who were being paid via this dark money group were not disclosing that. And you cannot do that. Like, you should not do that. Why do you think all those fake ass Dems got mad about that article she wrote? Because it exposed them, because the jig was up. They're like, oh shit, if my audience sees this, then they're going to start questioning whether I actually believe something or I'm being paid to say exactly what I'm saying. You need to have transparency. It's why you have to do #ad, #sponsored when you have a sponsor. You know, if I'm playing a video game, I'm being paid for it, I have to disclose that it is a sponsor. #ad. Do the right thing, says huge text laid over stock images of protesters on its website. Stand up, speak out, protect what's left of democracy, and forge a better future together. A link to sign up now points to an online form, but filling it out triggers no additional communication. A search of Federal Election Commission records returned no filings for Democracy Unmuted, and the group is not listed in Illinois business records filed with the Secretary of State. Dark money groups have grown to exercise tremendous influence, said Abigail Bellows, Senior Policy Director for Anti-Corruption and Accountability at Common Cause, which is a nonpartisan government watchdog group. With a lot of these competitive races, these groups can spring up overnight. These dark money groups use these shadowy vehicles for political participation that really undercuts voters. It just breeds distrust. The campaign was being executed by the digital marketing agency Upstart Factory, which lists Anthus as its founder. Anthus's other marketing agency advocators list the American Heart Association and the United Nations among its past clients. Reached for comment Friday morning, Anthus said, "We don't comment on or disclose the identity of our clients." Oh, okay. Then no worries. What we can tell you is that all our dealings and practices are fully compliant with FEC rules and regulations, including those at our creative agency partner, Upstart Factory. It's unclear how many creators were ultimately part of the Democracy Unmuted campaign. MS Now found several recent creator videos that seem to follow the Democracy Unmuted brief targeting Abu Ghazaleh. One is from Justin Kraleman, a Missouri creator who posts about progressive politics and who recited whole sentences from the Democracy Unmuted brief. He is the guy known as Woke Ginger. This guy, he literally wears hats that say woke, in case you forgot, in case you weren't sure. And here is...
Let's talk about Illinois District 9, because if you live in Rogers Park, Evanston, Skokie, or Glenview, your vote in the primary on March 17th will determine who represents you in Congress. And get this, there are 16 candidates running to replace Jan Schakowsky at the end of her term as she retires. So it's important to look past viral personalities and ask, who is running?
That is straight up the script. Straight up.
And why? For instance, one candidate, Kat Abu Ghazaleh, shared...
And it's funny, too, because he doesn't even pronounce her name correctly, which further indicates that he is literally reading off a script. This is not an election that he has looked into. He is not making this video of his own unpaid accord. Abu Ghazaleh,
in one of her mailers, that she grew up in a middle-income family in a modest home. Her home was worth $9 million, and her family owns oil wells.
I'm sorry, it also sounds scripted, man. I know that sometimes people have different formats of making short videos, all right? I get that there's kind of sometimes this natural roboticism, but this is straight up reading from a script, and it sounds like it.
Also has shared that she has no legislative experience, and she'll hire people to write laws for her if she's elected. Candidates like to drop populist ideas all the time in their campaigns. However, with this many candidates, it's important to look past the viral clips of the candidate pool. And
what does that even mean? You're not even saying anything of real substance. It's so clearly what was just dictated for you. It's important to look past viral clips. Remember, there are a lot of candidates, so you don't just want to look at viral clips. You need to look past viral clips.
To be clear, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm here to tell you to research each and every one of these candidates to make sure that they're looking out for your interest and not just trying to build a brand. So, If you're in District 9 on March 17th, this is going to be your opportunity to select who will represent you and stand up to MAGA.
$1,500 later, and that's what you get. Like, it's so low effort, too. So, Woke Ginger was not putting anything into that. That was just one and done. One and done. It's just social media posts. So, by the way, he posted on he posted in response to this because the story comes out and it's very clear that he is one of these creators who, I'll just say, seems like he was paid by this group for numerous reasons from having watched that video. And he has now removed his posts and put up a statement saying, let me just pull up the whole thing. Hold on. It's a little too late, buddy, because it's really obvious. Okay, he says, a message from the Woke Ginger. Tonight, I posted a piece of content about the primaries taking place in Illinois 9 on March 17th. Shortly after posting, I realized it did not meet the standards I've set for my platform, so I removed it. I want to be clear. I do not endorse candidates on my platform. My focus is on the larger issues and encouraging people to research, engage, and vote for the candidates that they believe will bring about meaningful change. My intent with the post was to encourage voters in the district to look into the unusually large pool of 16 candidates before heading to the polls. In my haste, I used one candidate as an example. Oh, it just so happened to be. It was just a coincidence that it happened to be Kat. That was not a balanced approach, nor was it appropriate to single out one candidate out of 16 without discussing them all. My goal is to... Also, the fact that Kat is, of all the candidates, the most internet savvy. That was her job before she ran for office. She's very good at social media. It has been a big part of her success. So it's just a coincidence that the one person you named was Kat in this script about looking past viral posts. Ain't none of these other candidates have had viral posts. Daniel Biss has not been going viral. Nor was it appropriate to single out one candidate without discussing them all. My goal is to stick to facts and remain balanced, and that post clearly did not meet those goals. My platform is still young, and I'm continuing to learn and grow, especially when discussing elections and candidates. I want to sincerely apologize to Kat Abou-Ghazaleh and wish her the best of luck in the upcoming primary. And this is an official statement from the Woke Ginger. Okay, and then there's a follow-up. Hold on. Thank you again for the grace many of you have shown. The first comment I go to. Don't lie to us. It's so obvious what happened and your message is digging the hole deeper. Okay, so he says, thank you for the grace. I want to address another claim that started circulating in the comments. Someone alleged that I was paid $1,500 for that post. That is simply not true. As I mentioned in my earlier statement, the issue with the content was that it wasn't balanced. It should have included context about other candidates and broader controversies, such as the role of outside political money, including things like AIPAC donations. It didn't, and because it didn't meet the standards I hold for that platform, I chose to take it down. That decision was about integrity and accountability. Going forward, I'm going to continue focusing on what this platform has always been about, following the money, how it moves through corporations, politics, and the systems that affect our daily lives. I can't help but note, is this a situation like with Israel where they didn't pay out their influencers? And that's probably why some of them have stopped posting because they didn't get what was promised to them 3,000 years ago. The $7,000 per post that was promised 3,000 years ago. I can't help but notice that some of the comments attacking my platform seem coordinated or driven by outside agendas, whether that's bots, MAGA trolls, or people with their own motives. But attempts to derail the conversation have never stopped me from doing this work, and they won't start now. Appreciate the people who engage in good faith and hold me to a high standard. That's exactly what keeps this platform strong. What I will say is I never heard of this motherfucker until this story. I didn't know the woke ginger. Am I a person who is a part of this coordinated outside agentic campaign? Because I only know of this guy having seen his post now in relation to this dark money that is it's being used to attack Kat Abou-Ghazaleh. You don't know him because you are not woke or ginger enough. It's true. And just to go back again, this email that was sent to Amanda Informed said it wanted creators to engage voters. Like this was the brief. Okay, this is the brief for the post. It wanted creators to engage voters and encourage them to look past viral personalities and ask real questions about who is running and why. That is literally what woke ginger did in this post. And he better hope. Here's the thing. This guy should have no credibility. Okay. If you follow woke ginger, you should unwoke unginger. Okay. No, like this guy should have zero credibility now. Nobody should be listening to him. Already too, I'm sure he's one of these annoying ass like Democrat blue MAGA types. But anyway, he better hope that a money trail does not come out, because now he's doubling down and specifically saying that he was not paid. It could be that he just hasn't gotten the full payment on the $1,500, so he thinks he's being sneaky. He thinks he's, in saying I didn't get $1,500 for this, that he's somehow kind of, I don't know, being pedantic or whatever. maybe it was $1,000, depending on the reach. Maybe it was like $1,500 is the maximum. If you hit X numbers. What bothered me is that leftist creators I like, such as Ariana Jasmine and Jessica Burmick, defended Kursk, but I think their defense was based on their dislike for Lorenz. Yeah, it was, which is unfortunate because in the leftist world, there are people who don't like other people. I kind of tend to stay away from, I stay away from all of that interpersonal drama. I don't even really know a lot of, I'm not even really in that world. But anyway, yeah, unfortunately, people took positions on the Wired reporting and the Chorus group based on their personal dislike of Taylor, which I'm sorry, but we shouldn't be operating that way. We should not be we should not be obscuring the truth or pretending that the truth is not the truth just because we don't like, if you don't like somebody who's reported on it because of whatever interpersonal issues you have. Need to prioritize policies and not personalities. Did Chorus ever reach out to you? I don't know. I mean, I've had other groups reach. I don't know. Maybe. The only chorus I know is singing chorus, is choir as we call it. Caroline doesn't check your email. No, it's that I don't know if like another group that reached out to me maybe would have had something to do with chorus. Like I don't remember receiving any. But I'm also like not I don't know. I'm not a person who I think would be in their kind of circle, I guess, in the club. I mean, I'm not even a political commentator. I'm a pop culture commentator, okay? I don't do politics. I do culture. they can't afford Caroline. It's true. I'm too expensive. I was like, $10,000? Come talk to me when it's 3 more zeros on that. I wish people would see the bigger picture and realize 99% of us are fighting for the right things, maybe have tactical disagreements, but we're all fighting for progress. Yeah, and I really think too, people need to do a better job of separating out who really is the enemy. And a lot of times, like, what happens is, as I said, interpersonal issues will take priority. Ego becomes too big. You have to remember that with a lot of people in the political world, there's still influencers, you know, there's still like, it's a personality thing. It's sometimes, I think, if you are a content creator / influencer / personality, whatever, in the world of political commentary, you have to be checking yourself constantly. You need to be always pulling yourself up short, checking your ego, checking your intentions, checking your priorities. I don't click record for more than 10K. Who is the enemy? The enemy are those who support a rule by the wealthy, those who support corporations and billionaires being in control of our politics. Not a rule by the people, but a rule of the richest, the most powerful, because of how the system has been designed to benefit them over and over and over again. You know, you always have to be with the people. And if you're not with the people, if you're not with us, then you're against us, right? That's how it works. If you're not with us, then you're against us. If you are continuing to advocate for a status quo, or it's like the spectrum of status quo to just the worst version of fascism, you're not with the people. Yay. What sucks is that Elizabeth Warren just endorsed BIS, and that means AOC and Bernie will not. Oh, Elizabeth Warren. This person is obsessed with Kat and has posted nonstop about her, was linked to that dark money too. Liza Minnelli? Who the fuck is Liza Minnelli? And how dare you think that you can have a play on Liza Minnelli's name? Liza Minnelli? And the reason that this is such ass, this is so shitty, not just because we need to be getting dark money out of politics, we need to be getting the influence that lobbying has, that these that these muddied interests have. It means that we can't advance. We can't truly progress because so many politicians and pundits and people who work in politics are captured by that money, but also because this deteriorates people's trust. People will check out of the political process. They will. If it feels like, oh, everyone's just a fucking grifter. Everyone is just a liar. Everyone is just getting paid however they can. They don't have true morals. They don't have consistent principles that they are abiding by. You know, when it comes to like, it's like how many times you see some content creator that you like, and it turns out that they're a piece of shit, and you kind of go, damn, are all content creators just shitty people? Do all of them just suck to a certain degree? Like, damn, it feels as if it feels as if I can't trust anybody in this world to not be, at the end of the day, a piece of shit grifter. And as I said, you know, you have to remember that okay, validation is something that is a natural, it's a natural human feeling, okay? Whether you're an internet personality creator or not. And we all have ego. It's just differences in how that ego manifests and sides of ego. When you have put yourself in a forward facing position as somebody to be listened to, as a thought leader, as a person to that other people should give their time and money, and choose you need to be on your P's and Q's, and you need to make sure that the validation, the elements of validation and ego and these things that make us human, that you keep in check, that you're not getting your priorities twisted. You know? It's also funny that these hypocrisy campaigns never get right what people care about. They do the overplayed rich socialists, but lefters actually go crazy for Taiwan. I know, that's funny. It's like the criticisms of Kat being nothing to do with, like, of her policies, being nothing to do with what this group is pushing, because that's coming from the left, right? Like the policy criticisms being mostly what I've seen with leftists. And so this group is like, no. Their goal is to smear her as a person, to say, oh, she's a phony. She comes from money. Don't be bamboozled by her having a snazzy social media presence. This is separate from the drop site. Yeah, this is a totally separate thing from when she was getting dinged on her positions. It's to totally, like, this is designed as a smear campaign to completely delegitimize her, to completely devalue her as a candidate and as a person, to say you cannot trust this person. It's not getting into like the nitty gritty on any of her politics. It's no wonder that when the DNC was in Chicago, Chicagoans protested. Maybe Warren still feels sad. God, I can't believe that I supported her once upon a time. Seeing her stand and clap as Donald Trump brags about what they're going to do in Iran. Seeing, like, so many times, I'll go, wow, Elizabeth Warren is great at what she's great at. And then turns around and is just like another neocon war hawk, more blood, more violence, more war. And then she'll also be like, this is an illegal war. I go, why the fuck are you clapping? Why are you clapping? Anyway, I also, just the last thing I want to say as far as progressive, leftist influencers and content creators go, I feel like a lot of times people spend too much time and energy going after one another. And again, as Katniss is told in Hunger Games, remember who the real enemy is. Remember. And I think sometimes like this is where the ego comes in. This is where the like, oh, you don't personally like this person, so now you're going to spend all this time, whatever, often over minor differences. Yeah. And I'm just like, is this really the most productive use of our time and energy? It's not the same thing as disagreeing on points. It's the way that it's always like a fucking battle. It's like it's always that it needs to result in one winner and one loser, you know? There's a difference between holding each other accountable or policing each other that you don't like. Right. You can have disagreements. You can and that's good, right? Okay, that's perfectly fine and good. But it's when it just turns into, I don't know, it just turns into like this blood sport almost. And it kind of feels too that some people treat it as, well, if I can knock this person out, then I'll have a bigger audience, right? And this is where what are our priorities? And when we joke about, when we always go, look at my leftist dog, we're never getting out of this patriarchal capitalistic system. That's what we mean. The internet also plays a part. Sometimes people want to boost their numbers by farming outrage, but then they inadvertently help the enemy. Yeah. And I see a lot of times this drama playing out publicly. And another thing is, I'm like, can we do this privately? Can we, like, that's the other check people need to have is why are we airing out this stuff publicly for everybody then to be involved on? I'm just really of the kind of consistent belief that most of the time interpersonal issues should not be handled in front of a public audience where people want people to take sides. And I don't mean like, okay, here's a prominent leftist who's been sexually harassing and abusing, you know what I mean? That person needs to be exposed. That person needs to be removed. And just to be clear, that's not what I'm talking about here. Ego-driven activism. Yep, ego-driven activism. And the way that it works online is big. It is still like the bigger number, better person mentality, even when we're talking about political content creators. And it's just so often you see that it's very, very ego driven and the priorities are not where they should be. And I think that that's not good. It makes the movement look unserious when people are arguing over who had the right vibes about who. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.